Hey guys, it's Aych coming at you with my semi-budget deck guide for how to improve the Nilfgaard starter deck with only a few silvers and 1 gold. I wrote an article about it on Gwent DB. If you haven't already done so, check it out in the description below. And this video will just have some gameplay where I will make sure to explain my decision thoroughly and hopefully you can learn something. So without further ado, let's get to the games.
There is but one punishment for traitors.
Hey guys, so I'm playing an improved starter Nilfgaard deck. And so this still has a lot of the golds you will see in your collection, like Geralt and Triss. But it has a few extra silvers, a few extra bronzes, and your first gold, which I chose to be Rainfarn. So I'll try to explain every decision as I go along, and I'll also try to win. This is casual, casual level 6, I'm still trying to get to ranked, but I've been winning a lot, so I should have a pretty high casual MMR and should get pretty good opponents. So let's see. So here I have a couple of emissaries, so I can get anything I want from my deck, essentially, in terms of bronzes. So I'll get rid of my Nausicaa. And this allows me to draw even more spies. Now I'll get rid of a combat engineer, I can always get rid of my emissary if I need to, and a medic as well, that's fine. There's 4 targets in terms of bronze which you don't want to hit off an early emissary, and that's Ambassador, Medic, the other Medic, and the combat engineer, which I just mulliganed. So you want to, in order to play an emissary immediately, you only want to have 2 targets that are bad to hit in your deck. And right now, that's fine, because the probability of hitting both of them is very low. And if you have more, that probability increases quite a bit. So we'll start with an emissary. We're hoping to hit an Emperor, or maybe even a Rotusser. The road doesn't really matter, I still haven't figured out what people are playing with dwarves, but we'll put it on the back. Nausicaa is fine too, it's just a 9-point play that's in that deck for 1. It's pretty nice, pretty fine. One thing we do need to make sure is that we have this Rainfarn, and we only have 1 spy left in our deck, which is the 3rd emissary. So we need to make sure to use it now for an emissary, or in later rounds if we draw the emissary to mulligan one of our spies, so we can get some value from our Rainfarn. So our opponent is playing the Tempo Barclay, lots of points, 26, with Saskia and the Roach, but it does use quite a few resources. So I think we're gonna go for the highest tempo play possible here, which is Rainfarn, to get an emissary and hoping to get something good from that. We'll put it in the back row because it will align with the Barclay Elves and won't block any potential rot tosses. Now, if we play Rotusser here, we can put that on the front row and hopefully kill his dwarf, which will might prompt him to pass, or it might prompt him to play something else here, which we can still kill with the cow carcass. They don't really have too many units that can block it easily. They have the dwarf that buffs other dwarfs, for example, but that's a 5, and 5 is still good value to get from a cow carcass. That would make our Rotusser an 11, and possibly even a little more since the cow carcasses do trigger Emperor Brigades. Excellent, Ragnarok. Oh, it's not that excellent. I would rather our opponent not play Ragnarok, and we don't have our Van Hamer to clear that, unfortunately. So I think I'm just gonna fish for it with my walk-in, and we do get it, and we'll clear the Ragnarok with our clear skies. Now, unfortunately, if he does have other weather, such as maybe a drought, this Van Hamer is hard to reuse because it's been buffed, and so bouncing it with Emir is not a very good proposition, because we're gonna lose our 10 strength, and we don't want to do that. And while I do want to save a Van Hamer for later rounds for possible droughts or, of course, Stammerfords. Of course, if he uses spores on it, Oh, he's using spores on the cow carcass. He really wants to keep this Mahakam defender, and he must not have the dwarf to block that with. So I think we're in a pretty good spot. That was a very low tempo play. He essentially traded a card for half of our card, spawned from a Rotosser. And now we'll just go for another emissary. We're hoping to hit an Emperor Brigade. Do we have another emissary in there? I think we do. Yes, because we pulled, we had 2 emissaries at the start, and we pulled one from Green Farm. So we'll just get another emissary, still hoping for an Emperor Brigade, but Nausicaa is fine too. Nausicaa is fine too, and now we can kill our Wakian, and finally catch up on tempo. He had a huge tempo play with all these silvers and golds, but we managed to figure it out. So now, we really do want a Nausicaa. One way to get a Nausicaa is to play the Cantarella here. And we don't really have any good resurrect targets for our Vitikurva medics. So I believe I'm just gonna go for a Cantarella. I'm gonna put it on the front row, so now if he buffs the dwarf. Decoy is a very good card in this deck, but we do really want an Emperor Brigade for power. Triss is fine too. Triss is also a source of power. If he passes now, we can win with 1 card with Triss, which would be totally fine. One thing we might want to do here is to reuse the Rotosser, or maybe even an Emissary, so that we can find a way to get an Emperor Brigade with a Vikovara medic. I think I am actually going to reuse... So, let's count how much we will get from this. So if we reuse the Nausicaa with Emir, we'll get 3 from the Emir, we'll get 4 extra from the Nausicaa Brigade, and there'll be a -2. So that is 9. And Kihir wouldn't put us ahead, so let's just use Emir for now, the low tempo play.
The North shall tuck tail, beg for mercy.
Actually, we'll grab this Nausicaa because it's damaged and this will restore it to its former glory. I should have counted that, but this is still fine, and Kihir would not have put us ahead, so this is fine. And Nausicaa keeps buffing, and since there's really no way for a Scoia'tael deck to get it from our graveyard later, we're fine with doing this. We can even do it again if we want to, but I think first we want to Vikovara medic and grab an Emperor Brigade, hopefully.
Your humble sir.
And now he is putting a lot of power into the next round, but if we win this round, we don't really care about that power. And if we can keep doing all this, then we might be fine. So that's immune boost, boost adjacent units by 3, and give them free armor. It's good, but it's not too good. It's only 9 points. We're really not trying to destroy those things right now. So we do have some options here. We could try to go for another Emperor Brigade, and the way to do that would be to Kihir, actually, Triss Marigold, one of the emissaries, and then Kihir a medic, to get back another emissary and hopefully hit an Emperor Brigade. But we do want to play Geralt when we're at least 11 points behind. So we won't play that yet. I think I'll just play an Ambassador and buff up our one of our medics. It doesn't really matter what we buff because we're very unlikely to get a combat engineer, and we don't want to. We might not want to buff our largest target anyway, because then it might open it up to a very good Scorch or Igni from our opponent, and you should be worried about Scorch as it's in all the starter decks. It might not be in this deck, but it's in all the starter decks, so people will be playing that. Now, our Peter Sar is getting slowly better and better. It can reset these units, and it effectively bypasses the armor, I believe. And we really do want to win this round. So, is there anything we can resurrect? Not yet. And I believe we do have this massive 10 here, or this 10 over here. I believe I'll just Geralt for now while we can get value from that.
Let's get this over with.
The Brave ability triggers, we get a 13 gold, that's pretty good. And we are staying ahead of his points. Now he has a Ciri. So now we quit pass, but because of all this resilience strength, I think we do have to keep going. And what we're gonna do is... I'm definitely gonna... There's a few good options. We're essentially trying to figure out which card is the least valuable going forward, and I do believe that is Peter's. So I'll just use it on a Hack'em Defender. So now our opponent will probably pass. And they do. And will pass as well, winning the round, one card down. They do get Ciri back, and we do have to pass immediately in the next round, just because we have no hope of overcoming all of this resilience. Although, we can get a little bit of our own resilience, and we also have this Cleaver. But we don't really have a really good unit to hit with this Combat Engineer. So I believe we'll mulligan the Cleaver. The reason I'm mulliganing the Cleaver here is because we want to... we desperately don't want to draw this Combat Engineer in the last round. And we'll just pass. And therefore I want to mulligan it going into the last round, so we don't draw it. And Cleaver is also not a very good card to have in the last round, because he doesn't have... the only thing that I've seen so far that we can block is the Resilience. And playing a Resilient unit in the third round and locking it doesn't really give us a lot of value. Let's see what our opponent does. Resilient my Hack'em Defender, interesting. What did he play? He played the Nature's Gift. That's pretty good for him. 12 points is more than he would get from an average card, so this is fine. Now we draw the Cleaver back, unfortunately. We will mulligan this Combat Engineer. Now, unfortunately, this Vicar of our Novice is also dead, as we've used both of our medics, all of our emissaries, and our ambassador. Unfortunately, we drew all those brothers. And now, this has no home. So, we're gonna win this round on the back of the Rotosa, if we do. I believe we do want this guy to grow by 1, so these guys can line up for a Rotosa. So we won't lock it yet. We'll just play the Vicar of our Novice and pretend like we're giving up. Well, we're actually not. We have 2 Rotosas from the Rotosa and the Kahir.
You talked enough.
And our opponent has a Ciri. So if we play a Rotosa here, it will trigger after we play the next card. So say we play Rotosa, then Cleaver, then Rotosa triggers, and then we play Kahir, and then Triss, and then Rotosa triggers. So we do actually have to... We don't have to play the Rotosa here, because we can try to put cows on different rows, but I believe we should play the Rotosa here. And we'll play it in the middle, just because this will make it more likely that all of this gets hit by things like Immune Boost or Thunderbolt Potion. Now he's also disincentivized from playing any specials, because then this will line up. So the play here was either to play Rotosa here or play something else, hoping he plays a special and then play Rotosa. But it's unlikely that these guys would line up, and it would have to be a very special sequence of plays.
The time of the white frost and white light is nigh.
Fog, interesting. Also, this grows the Double Left-Handed Protector. So, what we want to do now is we want to... He could have his own lock, but I don't think he would. I think he's gonna deal with this cow in some other way, or he's hoping to play another spell and grow this Protector out of range. So we're going to lock this Double Left-Handed Protector, because now this is fixed unless he buffs one of these units. He does have a lot of buffs in his deck, as we saw before, so he could buff one of these units. But if he doesn't, and he's trying to deal with this cow with a Thunder, for example, then we can get another cow, and now that cow will kill both of them. Of course, now he has a Thunderbolt, so it kills the Double Left-Handed Protector, but we did force that out of him. And now I believe we will here to replay the Rotosser. Replay the Rotosser. Since he had to deal with it in that way, that suggests to me that he doesn't have any other good ways to deal with that right now. Unless he gets that off his rally. And he does find a way. But we have a Triss, which deals exactly enough damage to kill that defender which he got. And it could have dealt with most of the things he could have placed on the front row. Also, even if we didn't kill that, if we killed Ida, for example, we would still have won with that play, because we only needed a few points to overcome his score. So, as you can see, Rot Tossers are very powerful in being able to choose what's important in this matchup, and in this case it was Rot Tossers, and replay them as many times as we want, puts our opponent in very awkward situations.
The North shall tuck tail and beg for mercy.
Still playing Budget Emir, and explaining every move as we go along. Let's have a look at this hand. So, what do we want? What do we want here? So, in terms of units that we don't want to pull off emissaries, we have 2 Vicaros and an Ambassador at hand. Ambassador less so, and Combat Engineer less so, which is the other option still in the deck. So we can get rid of one of these medics, but do we want to get rid of a Rot Tosser first? We have a lot of emissaries, and the Rot Tosser provides the biggest blacklist value. So if you mulligan a card, you can't draw it again in the mulligan, and you can't draw any other copies of it. So getting rid of a Rot Tosser where we still have 2 copies in the deck makes it more likely that we draw our very powerful golds and silvers, which we really do desire. So here we're gonna get rid of the Vicavara medic finally. And I got rid of the Emperor for the same reason, just for blacklisting value, and because we have 2 emissaries and a Vicavara Noravus to act as another emissary, so we'll be fine. So we'll shove an emissary in the back row.
A shame I have no time.
And we'll get a Rot Tosser, and we want to Rot Tosser the front row. We want to stop him from playing his hounds for as long as possible. And getting 2 points off the emissary is not really that great.
I see your fear.
So this is a little bit problematic, but the way we counter this, so it's very hard right now to win with 1 card. It would have to involve some crazy. I don't think it's even possible. Maybe Van Hamer? I don't think so. What does he does Frost and Stem methods. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna Cantarell on the front row, because this allows us to essentially win with 1 card. We'll get rid of the Vicavara medic, we don't need now. And because we're not going down a card, but we're this Cantarella, and it will die, and we will hopefully be able to win with 1 card after doing that. Also, he played a Wild Hunt Warrior, so we still got value from her cow. And now, we essentially flipped the coin flip, now we're half a card, we have half a card more than our opponent. We have 1, but this our turn, once we play a card it will be 0, so average half. And now we can start playing things. And we don't really have to worry about being too far behind. Also, this helps enable our friend Geralt over here. One thing we can do is Kihir the Rotosser, and I think that's what I'm going to do for maximum tempo. We want to do the Rotosser play first, so we're still really scared of him passing. He got a lot of tempo from these drones. And we want to do the Rotosser play first, so it can kill the Cantarella if he passes. So now he has to keep playing. Pretty much. So now, because, like, right now, if it killed the Cantarella, we would only need to make up 11 points, and that's easy to do without Geralt, for example. More things coming. Oh, Well-Timed Hound? Usually you want to use that for navigators, but I guess this is fine. And once again, killing the Hound is fine. So, what can we do here? So, if we pull a Nausicaa, we can damage the Cantarella down to 5, and line these guys up. If we pull an Emperor, we can get a lot of points on the Emperor, so I think we're gonna just play the emissary here.
Your humble servant.
Rotosser doesn't do that much for us, so we'll go with the Nausicaa play as described before. So it damages this for 5. This doesn't gain anything, but now the next time we damage the Cantarella, we get 5 and gain with our future Nausicaa. And once again, you can't pass because of that play. Hello, Nisserol. Fortunately, Frost isn't doing that much, and we can always bounce this Rotosser with Emir to reset its power. So, and we're not that far behind. Our opponent played a fairly low tempo play in that Nithril. So, I think we're gonna go for an Emperor. Oh, White Frost. I think it's time to Van Hamer Clear Skies.
Your words mean nothing now.
Clear Skies. Van Hamer is excellent versus these weather decks. Getting rid of 3 things at the same time, even though they did a little bit of damage, is awesome. Awesome. Speaking of awesome, what's not awesome is the fact that our Van Hamer got killed by a Ragnarok because we didn't have any units higher than it, so now we can't clear this Ragnarok with our Emir into Van Hamer. So I believe we have to pass here. This might allow him to get some resilience of his Well-Timed Raiders. But not all decks run those, and we do have to take this risk. Just because we can't continue into the Ragnarok with having things on 2 rows and not being able to clear weather, and being so far behind as well. So what does the Rain Farm pull? Have we... hide cards... Oh, we still can't access the graveyard. So Rain Farm does pull something. And I believe we'll... mulligan the Ambassador. But we can always pull it with emissaries anyway. So our Van Hamer pulls... forgetting his name. Oh, so this is another way our opponent can gain a lot of resilience. These harpies. So when these die, they'll spawn a 3-point harpy. But at the end of the round, things die, and they'll spawn 3-point harpies. So that's not good for us. But we'll find a way to deal with this, and I believe we'll begin. We want to gain a lot of tempo, but not too much, so we can use Geralt. We can try to kill these eggs with a Rotosser, and then set up for a Geralt. That could be an interesting play. But then, again, we can also use this Rotosser for something better later. So I think I'm actually gonna go for a Ring Phone. Wakium. Same row. Line up the 5, possibly. And we'll lock one of the eggs. I was hoping to get something else, but Cleave is fine too. I don't actually remember what's still in that deck. I'm not playing with deck of right now. Something like a Nausicaa would have been great. Wild Hunt Navigator is not great for our opponent. We can play very slow, and we can try to fish for our Combat Engineer to give the Cleaver resilience, and a 16-point resilient unit is great. We'll put the emissaries on the front row just so not to block anything. I have no time. Combat Engineer, excellent. Cleaver. Our opponent probably regrets playing low tempo right now. And this is a lot more resilience than his eggs will ever give him. Let's see what this water hag does. Torrential rain, sure. So now we can just... Do we have any more Emperors left, or have we used both? We've used one Emperor. So if we can put an Emperor on the front row, first it'll grow a lot, and also it will tank this torrential rain for a little while. And we'll try not to grow it with too many space. So I think we'll try to go for an Emperor right now. Ambassador, we don't want to set this up for Geralt Igni. And we can Ambassador later anyway, so we'll just... We'll put this on the front row because we're very far ahead and we'd rather remove resilience from the next round with these Harvey's eggs. And... Like, 6 is not that many important.
We know the mysteries of time and space.
And like, since he's playing so low tempo, like, we're not getting punished for this in any way, shape or form. So, now... Might want to pass very soon. Geralt is going to be a 10 strength in the next round, which is going to be fine. Is there anything interesting we can do with, for example, Peter Saar? No, I don't think so, but we do want to save this medic for a later round. We can try to just add more resilience with Emir.
There is but one punishment.
Make the Rotosser resilient. It's not too many points, but it's something. And since our opponent is playing so low tempo with these dead wildhound navigators, how did he end up with this Atlas? Interesting. Or this deck, I guess. I believe this might be Slim's deck. So Harpy was successfully spawned, but that's fine. We have more where that came from. So now we're almost ready to put actually, Ambassador is great because we can put it on either. So let's get an emissary. Hopefully grab an ambassador. Excellent, ambassador. And now we'll put it on the Rotosser because this is playing around Igni. There's not 20 points on this row, and like when you can play around Igni, might as well do it. Rather than putting it on the cleaver and making it exactly 20 points. Now we're a little bit behind because of all this resilience. The fact that we're gonna be behind because of this rain doesn't matter as much. Let's see what's happening. Vanema? Tremors, I assume. So now he's trying to win this round because we've got rid of his resilience. We have a lot of our own resilience. But I think I have a feeling we'll be fine, especially with this Geralt. He's probably not expecting this. We'll put the Geralt on the middle row to go with all the golds once again, in very small ways. And now we can just win with Peter Saar if we need to, if he passes here. And we'll have so much resilience going to the last round. So, as you can see, Emir was very good. We'll see what happens. So, what we want to do is we can Rotos at the back row, and that's going to be a lot of points. I would rather try to Peter Saar the cleaver to get it up to full strength, but playing Rotosser first will allow it to trigger, and that's a lot more important than keeping a little bit of strength into the next round, because that will actually allow us to win this round, which will be great. So how much will it remove? It will remove 13, he'll go up to 48. Peter Saar, there's no way we can remove resilience from him, but there is a way we can add resilience to us. So if we play Peter Saar, we'll go up to 41, that'll... Anyway, if we target the Rotosser, it'll be enough even with the Torrential Rain tick going off here. Because the Rotosser, turns out, is a pretty good card, and the game is over. Excellent. I still think he had a chance. Maybe if he drew a good card and we drew 2 dots with our extra mulligan. But, as you can see, Emir was excellent. He allowed us to replay the Combat Engineer in a situation where our opponent was obviously trying to get rid of his bad cards and not playing for a lot of tempo in the second round, which is a good thing to do, but not when your opponent can gain more value in the next round than you can by getting rid of all these cards. So, I hope that was at least somewhat educational. If you have any questions, comments or feedback, you can leave it down below, or find me at Gwent on Twitter, or at Aych on the Gwent Discord. Always happy to talk about Gwent and especially help new players out. And if you like the video, like and subscribe for more. I'll be coming out with more content over the coming weeks, especially Nilfgaard, but also I will be dabbling in some other factions. But for now, this is Aych saying goodbye.